Hello YouTube, we're back to another video, and today we're going to do a reaction. The door's open, whatever. Okay, so we're back. That was pretty bad. Okay, let's go into the video. Basically, the topic of this reaction, we're going to talk about is modern society hurting masculinity. So, let's watch the video and we'll see what is people opinion in the streets. All right, let's get it.
Where is this? USA?
What do you think it means to be a man today in 2023 then?
You don't even need to look anything like a man to be a man.
Toxic masculinity for sure.
Women in general are seen as like meek.
Women have all these options, match, nonstop.
Young men have to some extent been de-skilled in terms of relationships. And if there's a war, you've got to pick sides.
So today I'm out here and the question that I'll be asking is masculinity toxic?
Yes, they never express like their feelings. It's something that you learn from society.
There's a lot of pressure put on like men, the pressures society put on what masculinity is.
As men, we have a responsibility to provide, to protect, and to profess.
I think that's what's most toxic, and we don't allow people to kind of define that for themselves.
Oh, I need to be a strong and masculine man because I want people looking at me and get women and whatever. I think that's toxic masculinity.
No, it is not toxic. I believe that masculinity is needed today. When I look at people my age, like it's all about toxic masculinity. And I would just say that that's not like a good message to send.
The classical role of men is not like sustainable today. Now like there will have a lot more of women that prioritize careers over like family. Not being the breadwinner in certain cases can be like makes some men self-conscious, like feel like they do not belong as much.
I think you can be masculine just by being yourself.
It's like today we can't seem to get along and it's like men are demonized.
Men are literally disgusting.
White men dominate and exclude women.
Men are trash. That's common in society.
And in the absence of proper role models, men are feeling lost, lacking direction, and even forgotten.
Young men didn't know what they were supposed to be doing.
Most men are desperately lonely.
And if either gender can't show up as their best, it can only hurt society. But in today's lack of nuance, is it considered sexist to even explore masculinity? And can we realistically find a balanced approach to gender dynamics, or is it too far gone? I guess we gon' see. What do you think it means to be a man today in 2023 then?
In 2023, you don't even need to look anything like a man to be a man.
A lot of people that like transition from like being female to male have seen that they are.
Wow, that's crazy. Why do people always say, oh, now it's 2023, we gotta change things, all this? Not for the better. Look, so I'm like that one guy, all right, he said sometimes things don't change for the better. That's true, because look, all this crap is delusional. All this crap they saying, oh, female to male is a man now. No, it's not. Sorry, no, it's not. Come on. Again, your body reveals what you are. That's it. Sorry, when you're born with that, look, facts don't care about your feelings, like they all say. Look, and also, I see, like they said, in this society, we as men need to. It's like we have higher standards. We should do that because we're man. Basically, like the people who built this society is men. Mm-hmm. We should always have higher standards of us, like elevate us. We should. Like basically have a community for real. Mm-hmm. This time and these times we live in, men don't have a community no more. Men don't like go out, get a community strong, and let's start grow. Back then in the old times, people do that. They help, they grow. That's how the economy got stronger. And now I feel like masculinity, like for us men, it's not gonna become stronger. It's gonna become weakened. The fact that this is a conversation, the fact that to me, it's just delusional. Like people now, like you compare from back then, no, I'm talking about way back then. The Roman, like thousands of years. Yeah. What is all this? Look, I know Roman Empire was wicked as Bebe. I know that, but the man. But was look, like what? Why? Who's asking these questions? Like, what is a man? This is like why. Like, however old the Earth is, why now? Why not back then? Yeah, why not back then when the day started? Because people say, "Oh, we're getting smarter." I said this before. They're not. They're not turning smart. Look, the culture as a society is stupid. Yeah. They're now, because back then it was way better. Yeah. And now it's not. Now it's
they
just
trying to. They see like an ego. They want to be smart and they try to do some freaking different opinions.
now it's just delusional.
Treated completely differently. I don't get cut off as often. People actually care about what I say.
Do you think society still values masculinity?
I don't understand why would we need to value that. Gender and roles, like, I feel like it's not good to be like defining what's good and what's wrong. Whatever you're feeling like.
I have masculine traits and I also have, I think I have feminine traits. Feminine traits that I was thinking about, my hair, some parts of my face look like that, but facial hair and stuff, those things are like masculine.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it like black or white. It's a really, really deep matter that I cannot explain.
So now I wanted to ask an expert to see if he knew the answer.
I'm Richard Reeves, president of the American Institute for Boys and Men, a think tank and research organization that will be specifically focused on the issues facing boys and men today.
You mentioned that both the left and the right are approaching masculinity incorrectly. Why do you think this gap exists? Only the extreme definitions of masculinity is currently being presented.
It's one symptom of a broader problem in society, which is a polarization and zero sum. That the right are saying you should be more like your dad, and the left is saying you should be more like your sister. And in the middle are most of us, and trying to figure out how to be guys in a world that's changed.
As time changed, those roles kind of went away.
Young men don't know who they truly are.
In that instance, then, how would you personally define like a real and mature man?
The process by which a boy becomes a man is always a bit more fragile, a bit more socially difficult. There's a reason why every society has had rites of passage and ways to help boys make that transition. I have 3 sons, and I've tried to raise them being willing to put yourself out there, to take some risks, and sometimes risk rejection or failure. The second is this sense of graciousness and understanding and absolute respect for women and other men and everyone else in society. And thirdly, I think it does bring in the reality of something of a protector role, which is the reality that women on average are more physically vulnerable than men.
And so it's clear that there's been a change, whether it be the perception or definition of masculinity. And so I was curious to ask those who perceive it as toxic. How do you think the role of masculinity has evolved over the years?
I'm Gen Z, and I feel like we're a lot more open to talking about our feelings, and the guys even, but I still think we have a long way to go.
I wouldn't say it changed, more like it's looked down upon. It's still the same, but now it is, I think the definition itself changed.
Do you think that toxic masculinity is a result of biology or culture?
Culture, definitely. It all depends on how you're brought up and how, for example, a guy who's raised like with women will have a different personality to like guys raised with men.
It's a mix of both. I'm going to talk about this experiment that was done, but it was about some monkeys. There was this monkey in like a group that was generally like more aggressive, and like that kind of permeated throughout the whole group. At some point, they literally got into like fights, and they would like, I think they ended up like killing each other or something like that. They took away like all the monkeys that exhibited those traits, and then the next generation was totally like fine. If we deem that these reactions are like normal and like aggression and violence is normal, that will become part of our daily lives.
Why has masculinity become demonized?
Merely by raising the issues of boys and men, you put yourself in a particular tribe, and that's the tribe of people on the alt-right, in the manosphere, and therefore against the other tribe, which is the tribe who are worried about women and girls. And if there's a war, you've got to pick sides. And I think every aspect of that is wrong. There are all kinds of challenges facing young men and young women that are different as well as overlapping, and that most people are perfectly capable of holding 2 thoughts.
Today, the message that is traditionally spoken to men has shifted, and especially in the media. The controversial Gillette We Believe ad in 2019 was a perfect example.
Is this the best a man can get? It's been going on far too long.
The ad also addressed issues like bullying and sexual harassment in a way that seemed to portray masculinity as a whole as violent, sexist, and toxic.
This advert is really dangerous.
It's like an anti-masculine Gillette commercial. It makes like every man look like a misogynist piece of shit.
Although the video became one of the most
Back
disliked
then they
videos
didn't
on
do that.
YouTube,
Now they
could
do.
this sort of message of
It's horrible.
masculinity equals toxic have its consequences? In a recent study of over 4,000 men in Europe, they found that thinking masculinity is bad for your behavior is linked to having worse mental health. But when men are viewed as oppressors,
That doesn't mean crap. Those stupid tests again are look 4,000 people in the UK. If you go in the freaking East, these people have better monkey brains than freaking the West. All these people are making these things hard. Like, what is a woman? What is a man? If you go in the East or Africa, anywhere, they'll be like,
definitely the Africans.
And then look,
they
okay,
say, wow,
the East will eventually probably turn into how the West is
maybe
slowly.
soon. Yeah,
because
very
you know the
slow.
new gen are getting a little delusional.
Yeah.
Because if you go there right now and say like that Matt Walsh guy, he went to the African country, I think, and he asked them questions about it. And they brought forth good answers. They know what the heck is going on. And then if you ask someone who's woke and they're from San Francisco,
and they don't believe
they'll
in
be like,
scientists and analytics.
Actually, it's actually who you think you are. No, it's not. You can't say that because it's not true at all.
Is there even any room for empathy for male struggles? And so I was curious on what the streets thought. What do you think are some of the challenges that men are facing today?
Masculinity, definitely. I don't know,
No,
people
I
will be
think
like,
it's
oh
broke.
shoot, like you have
People
long hair,
getting-
you look like a girl, this and that. Other men trying to like make themselves more like, oh, I'm a man, like.
Roles, stereotypes, toxic masculinity for sure. I believe it's a big issue. It's okay if you don't want to feel vulnerable or whatever, but they should just ask for help.
There are a lot of men who are really struggling right now. There's a reason why men are at 3 times higher risk of a death of despair from suicide or drug overdose or alcohol.
In your definition, it seems like a man who is acting very, let's say, masculine might be considered toxic masculinity. Would the opposite be considered toxic femininity?
The way I said it, I guess it should be. I don't think that that's ever been talked about really.
What do you think is more common, toxic masculinity or toxic femininity?
I think we've mostly focused on men and like patriarchy.
I've never heard about toxic femininity.
I think in general in society, we're more accustomed to hearing about toxic masculinity rather than toxic femininity.
The word that men would use for toxic masculinity is hysterical crazy bitch, so that maybe that's why we didn't hear about that. Women, maybe that's why you never heard that.
Do you think toxic femininity exists?
Everybody's kind of toxic in their own way. We don't go through life the same way that men do. Guys can just walk out at night and be like, I can go on the stroll at midnight. I can't do that. Women in general are seen as like meat.
The most toxic femininity, I would say, is among girls. I'd say that girls are more judgmental toward girls than guys. And like, let's say, even if a girl has more traditional opinions, I don't know, if a girl want to be a housewife, they're gonna like judge.
Because if there's one thing I've learned is that the extremes exist in pairs.
We need to all men.
Phrases like all men to men are trash and patriarchy generalize males as privileged.
I don't know what's going on with these
See,
people.
well,
I don't know what's going on with these people.
You guys saying screw all these men.
That's messed
Look,
up. Kill all
who
men.
built your house that you're living in? Who freaking made the internet and all this camera stuff so you can say that? For you to say that, you have to appreciate what people did back then. Like, I saw the post. A guy showed a photo of the Milan church and
but not some parts that man created that kind of dilutes people's brains.
Like what?
Some of the wicked stuff.
What?
There's people,
I know. I know
I
know that.
Yeah, all men, do
okay,
that stuff.
but
the
look,
good part,
like the
of
church.
the houses.
Everyone likes the church in Milan.
Yeah.
Look, it looks amazing. All right,
but they don't
don't appreciate why they made that. Why is the reason they say, "Oh, these guys." Like nice thing, but your beliefs are trash. That's just
and they still take a picture of. Look, it's crazy to keep taking picture of these Christians' valuable buildings in the East Coast when they travel. These Western people, but they don't respect the real facts about why is it built, why is it so amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are hypocrites. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all.
When we say it's all men, truly, it is all men.
And as of November 18th, 2021, the fact that searching all men on Twitter resulted in 87 profiles, while proud misandrist yielded 26 profiles, suggested that not only are people promoting such views, it may also be becoming more socially acceptable.
This is an assault on all men.
I think men in general will have to be a bit kind of snowflakey.
And it's even happening to the youth. At a school assembly in Broward College in Australia, all male students were told to stand up and apologize on behalf of their gender for collective ills such as sexual assault. And although the justification was in response to growing concern about treatment of girls at the school, girls were left feeling exposed and upset, while boys were made to feel guilty for being men. And as male student Vinny stated, we had to apologize for stuff that we didn't actually do.
One boy came home and he said, "Mum, I'm not a rapist. Why have I been forced to apologize for this?"
And in an era where we're encouraging boys and men to be more open, it becomes challenging for them to actually do so when they're still receiving messages that their feelings and perspectives aren't really that valued. And if expressing even slight sensitivity about the male experience is viewed as invalidating the female experience, how can we ever expect to establish healthy communication? And so it's important to remember though that the extreme and radical cases don't represent the majority of women or femininity, just as extreme examples of toxic masculinity.
Well, this, like I said, back then, I feel like in the 1920s, the man and female have good relationship with each other. Like they talk normal, nothing going crazy. Ever since, I often say this, I don't care what these feminists watching this. Ever since the women rights movement came, that's when it became a problem for me, because it says, "Oh, I want to be like the man. I want to be just working hard like them." La la la. See, that's basically us men as creatures. We all know us men. They said we're competitors. See, like sports. You see sports. We compete. We like to compete each other, like boxing, all the stuff. And females want to get into that nature, but they will get demolished. Like we have different roles, and us men need to keep the provider. Now the female say, "No, I don't want that. I want my way." Look, if I was a female, I would have said, "No, I want easy life. All I gotta do is do this. Point A, love my husband. Point B, clean the house." To me, that is one of the easiest job of all time.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that.
That's right? Disgraceful. Y'all are disgraceful. I'm sorry. Like, y'all want to do all our work, the hard, painful, suffering. Okay, I want to ask you this, females. Work in 9 to 5 labor jobs, like work 9 to 5. Yeah, you don't want no. See, they don't want to accept that. Yeah, no. See,
and then you know what they do?
Yeah.
They say, "I'm an entrepreneur. I do
no. See, that's stupid. Look. You girls don't have to freaking suffer like us. We do as men. Trash labor jobs don't get appreciated. Even definitely the construction.
And we can say shame on the men who buy stuff like that.
Yeah, but them horrible. But also, they don't want to go work in the construction in the hot sun, 95 degrees outside. How long hours? 8 hours straight. Look at that. Disgusting.
Don't represent the male majority. But when nearly half of all adults under 30 are single, and 34% of them are women and 63% are men, it's apparent that there are extreme differences
like people using
in
these
struggles.
research.
So why are men so lonely? A guy then.
Oh God, so much.
I thought you just said, men should just be themselves.
They should be themselves, but sometimes themselves is not gonna cut it for me. I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, I don't look for guys. Let's start there.
Have you been able to maybe relate to, let's say, a straight dude's dating struggles by dating women?
No.
Be funny, be kind, don't be an asshole.
That's asking too much already.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's easy.
It can be really intense, and when people I'm not gonna stop. So somebody has to tell me to shut up at some point.
So you want to be put in your place?
That's a way to say it, but
be a nice person overall to talk to.
But I thought girls hate nice guys.
Nice guys are mostly misogynists covered. They're literally girl bossing, gatekeeping, gaslighting. That's what they're doing.
Why do you think men are struggling?
I'm brain dead right now.
Where did she get this from?
What's
I think that she got that from her past experience, maybe.
Yeah, that's why she
past experience can dilute your freaking brain.
Yes,
you just gotta forget about that and
just forgive them.
If you have a new person, don't think on the past because this is a completely new person.
Yeah, everyone's different, guys.
Yeah, okay. If you start to see signs that you saw back then
cut them off.
Then maybe but most of these people get trauma and past stuff always in the history they get right
and stuff like that.
More when it comes to dating.
Men, they get to choose marriage. Women get to choose who has sex. Women have all these options, right? We're a swipe right, swipe left culture. It's like a casino slot machine. Bang, 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 boom, boom, match, nonstop.
You are also mentioning, the explanation of let's say video games and dating apps is kind of a lazy excuse to kind of put the blame on the individual when it comes to men's struggles in dating. But, you know, a lot of people fail to mention things like the larger issues of economy, family lives, and the educational system. I like to actually argue, isn't masculinity about personal responsibility?
Men, I think, are reasonably unique as being about the only group who are told, yeah, it's your fault. So that individualism typically is not applied to certain racial or ethnic groups. It does seem like there's a bit of hypocrisy there in the willingness of those, particularly on the centre-left, to attribute the travails of all other groups to structural causes. But when it comes to boys and men, oh no, it must be their fault as individuals. This is a whole new world in terms of what does it mean to succeed as a man.
And when men are twice as likely as women to give up dating altogether, some men are starting to go their own way. MGTOW.com has around 33,000 members with forums dedicated to men movement. United in abstaining from relationships with women altogether. Advocates of MGTOW believe their way is a statement of self-ownership, and redirecting their time and energy towards pursuit of higher achievements instead of women is a better use of time.
If this is how it is, I'm going to take actions to prevent putting myself in that position.
Warn men about the dangers of relationships with women.
But on the other hand, criticism can be
they
made.
Lost faith.
So
like,
basically,
that movement is the. I was there a little bit before.
What, they're like done?
They're done. They don't want to deal with no one no more at all. Okay. That's bad. That's not good. That's not healthy.
I kind of see it like how, what's it called? What's it called? How a pastor is.
But that's pastor.
Like, because, you know, they do it for God.
Yeah,
I mean, this is only for Catholic. Yeah. Like, Orthodox, they
but these guys, they do it for, but look at this. If you don't do it for God, it's going to be hard.
Okay, there's going to be difference because if you don't,
look,
then
they say, oh yeah, they hate women, but come on, us men, we deal with lust easier, right? So like, no, one day you will say, oh man, I wish I have a girlfriend. You're gonna have that in your head, like they say in the verse, man cannot be alone, right? But if you don't serve God, it's hard. Yeah. But if you have God in your life, it's easy because you need to love Him more than, you know, yourself, anyone else than anyone else. So
please. Generalizing all women as false accusers and parasites, riding on the coattails of men is not only misogynistic, but also creates an us versus them mentality that furthers the divide. And with similar movements like incels that identifies as individuals unable to find romantic or sexual partners despite desiring such relationships, it's evident that there's a growing population of men that are lonelier than ever.
I've never had a girlfriend before.
I'm recording this video because I'm lonely.
I have no friends.
Because it's not just dating. 50% of men now report having no close friendships, marking a 5-fold increase from 1990. And so, what's causing this loneliness epidemic? What's your relationship like with your father?
Not the best, but I mean, I'll live.
It's decent. I don't really want to get into it. I love my father.
It's complicated.
Damn, bro.
I actually have a really good relationship with my dad.
Do you think that kind of shaped your view on just masculinity and just like men in general?
My dad is a very emotional guy.
It's a
when you're younger, look, there could be some parents do some bad things, and this is why the kids are like this.
The Catholics.
And what's it called? Well, yeah. When you're a parent, you have to do the things that you tell them to do because they see you when they're a kid. They see you, and you know they want to get inspired by you. Because if you do something good, like if you do something bad, and then they see that, then they're gonna start thinking of doing that as well. Yes. Because what's it called? I forgot how it's worded. I forgot how he said it, but basically they said, like, what you preach, you have to do it because the kids will understand.
Wait, pause it.
In the way, like, he would cry in front of them.
Ding. Is the recording?
Okay. How do you know? Do you know what it is? We're gonna cut this off.
Cut this. Okay.
ashamed of it. My dad like kind of like shaped what I look for into a man into like, oh, I want somebody that respects me.
Actually, it's pretty good. We are super best friends. It's the best relationship ever.
You know, we didn't really have like the greatest relationship, actually. I kind of let bygones be bygones of the past, and like I really made an effort to repair my relationship with my father.
I grew up with my mom. My father is very, very macho. He would often tell me stuff like, you gotta submit to your husband when you grow up. And like all along, he's always told me that he loved me. It's been like 5 years since I've seen him last time, and I do miss him, and I do want to see him. And even though we have our different, still my dad. I go on and.
One of the facts that I stumbled across was the fact that within 6 years of their parents separating, a third of American children don't see their father again. How does that play out in the dating market? I'm not sure here. Girls who have good relationships with their dads when they're 16 have better mental health in their 20s and early 30s. It is clear that young men have to some extent been de-skilled in terms of relationships, and no curriculum can replace just watching how your dad behaves as a man. And that direct form of learning is crucial.
Lack positive role models in their life. Is this a direct result of the fatherlessness crisis?
He was Tommy's father, homework.
For generations, fathers served the role as role models for their children, and those who experienced this bond from a young age showed higher problem-solving, cognitive skills, and better performance in schools.
Parental involvement is the key to their child's academic success.
Children who have both parents are more likely to be emotionally, educationally, and also behaviorally more prominent.
Because even without a present father, young men could still find these male role models in domains like schools. But with only a record low 25% of teachers being men, and even fewer entering new teaching programs, there's limited access to male role models than ever before.
Male teachers are still a minority in your child's classroom.
Teaching is just not a male profession. You need to go do something else, something more masculine.
And while some research suggests that the gender of a role model might serve little importance for young
teaching.
Since when is teaching feminine is my question.
Teaching is not
you see the people in the Bible, they preach, they teach people.
That's teaching. The word teaching is not, I think it's the
even like other religions, they teach.
Teaching.
Look, it's not only about like, you know, school academics.
It's like soccer or anything else.
Yeah, like
teaching.
Look, the Greek people, Plato's, Socrates, all of them, Aristotle as well. They were basically teaching people their philosophy and all their thoughts.
Yeah.
And these guys were, you know, kind of, I don't know if there's just the statues or whatever. Yeah. But
Zeus and stuff.
Like them, no, they're not Zeus. They're human beings.
Oh, the statue ones, not the other Pharisees looking things.
Them, they were teaching. So, since when did this people say teachings? Maybe because, you know, most in teachers or in school are women. Yeah. But I don't see teaching like in general the whole thing as teaching. Maybe like in school they can say that because
evidence shows that men are falling behind girls in education. Despite previous inequality, now for every 13 girls who enter university, only 10 boys do. And so it's increasingly hard for people to find male role models in person. It's clear that there's a gap to fill. And so who are men turning for guidance? Who would you say is the positive male role model?
I have no clue because to be honest, I don't have any role models.
I can't think of like a role model for like male role model at the moment.
For sure not Andrew Tate, like.
We can say Andrew Tate what it is, right? We see the people who are in the extreme limelight. If negative things are happening with those people, that tends to reflect the dichotomy. It just so happens that the negative stuff tends to get shared a lot more, and that ultimately shapes, you know, how the things get perceived in society.
What do you think has caused this rise in digital father figures, as you put it?
The search for an answer to the question of how should I be in the world today? What does it mean to be a man today? And then you get a figure like Andrew Tate.
Sitting here telling men to cry more, it's okay to feel this way, that way, etc., and have no self-control. That is why we have the problems we have in the world.
Very straightforward, simple answers. And that's, of course, very attractive. One thing we can be sure of is the average 16-year-old boy likes to be countercultural.
And so it's clear that over the years, what a male role model looks like has evolved. But why is it that one gender has been able to adapt better than the other. Women have done a better job of, let's say, incorporating masculine traits, whereas men probably haven't done as good of a job of, let's say, incorporating more traditionally feminine traits. Why do you think this is?
I don't agree with first wave nor second wave feminism, but I do think that their work has done a lot for women nowadays, whereas like male issues, we've only seen like a rise in this like concern over the last couple of years.
Do you think at this point then there needs to be maybe more of a men's movement?
What if that's what it's gonna take? Maybe.
This whole like women starting to work, it didn't work for women because they both don't need each other anymore.
She picks up these masculine traits over time, fighting in the corporate world against men for top positions in companies. You have this kind of weird thing where men can't be emotional and vulnerable. Women, you know, they kind of have to get tough and hardened if they want to pursue that path of careerism. And it's like, where are we at? How do we balance it?
The problem is that we're still in a society where a lot of those
sort of balance possible on a global scale. Because even with K-pop's global popularity challenging traditional standards of masculinity with elaborate outfits and made-up eyes, it's interesting to see that South Korean culture as a whole remains highly patriarchal and heteronormative in many ways. And that the blurred lines between masculine and feminine presentations in K-pop don't always translate to other aspects of life.
These old Asian guys, I don't know if, did Korea have samurai? Like similar? Not, they don't have samurai, but similar to it.
Yeah, I think
okay,
so.
if they did,
they will look
at them and be like, "What is this? These guys worshiping these."
Yeah,
these
like the best.
K-pop
I feel like
guys.
the best samurai guy,
Yeah,
Japanese
like,
guy. If you see this, like, come on,
Yeah,
what?
like if they see them like, what the? You guys are worshiping or you know want this fake anime character. You guys are talking about it so much.
And not be
like, because look, Japan to me just failed.
It failed
so
hard. All these, like, even
hard.
China failed hard. Like, all this stuff just failed.
To me, like you went from samurai to now.
No,
it just got
I'm
wrecked.
actually like you know what I'm seeing, like you know what I'm seeing right now in my head of what the world, like each country, like I feel like this is weird. Look, like you know we have nature instinct, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we don't use our nature instinct anymore. Like our soul, our instinct, our traditional values from our subconscious mind that is right. Basically, like now I see every country, basically they just want to do is follow lies, and they do not follow their nature, what we are built of, you know, each, like, you know, the females and the male. They say, oh no, females need to work now. Oh, the males, let's just calm down. Be like a girl now. Like, see, be less like, don't take too much risk. Be like, take care of yourself, love yourself. That is not the right way. This is why, like, I feel like people back then don't have those things, because, you know, what I feel like the enemy is the government. The government tells you so much lies. And, you know, now, like you said, the government, like the boomers are leaving, and, like, you know, like the religion transitions, like values, it's all fading away. Because, you know, now they're trying to dilute you, and then the new ones coming in to go in office. They say, get rid of these religion stuff, get them out. And then that's going to be horrible. Yeah. And then people's going to act differently. And then they're going to keep telling more lies and news. And
like, look, like they said, oh, like, you know, when kids get out of high school, they want to fit into society. They think about, how do I become, you know, like, am I really a masculine male? Why are you guys thinking of this? Yeah. Like, I've never thought, once I get older, I gotta say, man, what does it mean to be a man? Like, should I actually do this?
That's crazy, bro.
Why are these people thinking of this? Like, do you think the people back then, they'll be like, I don't know what I don't know what I want to be? That is stupid. Yeah. That is... they're getting deceived.
Yeah, the people back then, they just do what they gotta do. They said, okay, I gotta do this.
It's my mission. This.
Yeah, A, B, and C, and D. That's it. Now it's like, I can't do Z. 3, 5,
they're
6.
like, should I go to like Z or F?
Or just stay here, just wait until everything happens. Yeah, that's not good.
country has a new president now. Mr. Yoon is a self-proclaimed anti-feminist. He wants to abolish South Korea's Ministry of Gender Equality.
Because even though economic change has brought forth greater gender equality and a break from traditional roles, with over 2 out of 5 American households having a woman breadwinner, it has also challenged what fathers are traditionally for. Because with blue-collar jobs disappearing and some men lacking guidance to advance mentally, educationally, and sexually, a healthy society will depend on both genders thriving. So how can more men adapt and create a new future moving forward?
What benefits will there be to society when men are doing well?
Well, the downstream effects for women and children will be huge. Right now, we're just leaving too much talent and energy on the floor because we're losing so many of our men. More women are having to pick up more of the work. They have to do the men's work of earning the money and the women's work of raising the kids. So the mere presence...
I don't care. Women, I'm going to say, women, it's your fault. It's your fault because look, I'm seeing right now you're taking men's jobs, men's losing hope, everything like that.
But look,
you
look, I don't care about that argument no more, because if this happens, maybe it will. I don't know. Okay, robots are going to take out the human
that's what
race.
I say. No,
so,
that's what I'm heading to.
Like,
That's what I'm heading to that. Like if women do that,
Yeah.
then the big elites, the one who control this world, these demonic people. So okay, men's are not doing their work.
Mhm.
Let me just create robots. Men's are now like don't care about their life.
Yeah,
Let's
and
create
then
this
they
robot.
can make a robot. You know, robots don't get tired.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
You know,
Just
you
keep
can.
going.
They got batteries,
Yeah.
or you have to charge it and bull crap, but they don't get tired. They probably work as they want to be.
Yeah,
So that being
we're
other
doomed,
engaged
basically.
dads
The men
around
are-
the community is good for everybody, especially for the boys.
We need to start loving men more in order to allow them to grow. Fully formed human beings and like that are able to like process emotions and to have emotional intelligence.
So we can stop being such monkeys too.
Straight up. Yeah.
Because what feminists and men's rights often overlook is that each gender's actions always influences the other. And understanding this interplay is crucial in fostering a better approach. How can men and women encourage men to be better?
By allowing people to express themselves, I think that's when most growth
Like, why is
happens.
this even a
Put
question?
more
Like, it's supposed to be
importance
straightforward,
into
everyone
like the
knows.
whole hookup culture. I believe that it just make everybody resent the other. Maybe try and go back to a more traditional approach on household.
And to promote change,
always
we
the
must
way,
let go of this
alright?
notion of masculinity as inherently toxic. Because it's only by doing so that we can appreciate the good of masculinity and encourage the next generation of men to learn from
It's
past
going
mistakes.
down.
This
Because
is
as always,
sad
it's
to
the
see
extremism from
this.
both sides that breeds toxicity. Because even in the hypothetical scenario of Barbie Land that started with an authoritarian matriarchy followed by angry Ken dolls overthrowing it to create an extreme patriarchy in response, both instances demonstrated that the extremes can only hurt the other gender.
I don't think people who are left wing ever really change to become right wing, or people who are right wing ever change their position to become left wing. Just being open minded to like different person's perspective.
Yeah, and I think we just need to become better at disagreeing with one another and talking to one another. Because it's only by promoting and embracing masculinity alongside female empowerment that we can finally realize that we need each other more than ever. That's exactly the mission, to explore the unfamiliar. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video, and I also recently launched memberships where you can watch this full interview with Richard Reeves. But if you just want to binge more videos, then
All right, that'll be the video. And guys, yeah, like I say how we gotta keep growing for our next generation. It's not gonna happen because we're Christians. We see the Antichrist, how it plays out. It's gonna get ugly, all right. But don't lose faith, all right. Don't lose faith. Don't just say it's gonna be your future sons or daughters like that. This is why I say get your traditional values there, keep it there. And I know it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be. I feel like if they're kids, I feel like the kids gonna get reckless hard because they're gonna start being curious. They say, Dad, why my values are way different than everyone else? It's gonna be more because back then it's like they accepted it. Those sorts of values. Now it's getting hard. People are so far away, and then this one say, why my father tell me to follow this, but everyone's following this? They're gonna feel curious later on the road.
And then they could get right.
Yeah, they could get right,
They
too.
get deceived themselves. But look, like, since day one of the world, and then people's gotta say, how do you know this? Well, who cares? The man, he's basically kind of, I'm not saying he's God, but, he came from God. God made him, okay? But the woman came from him, all right? You got to understand that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like, what if, like Eve wasn't created?
Yeah.
maybe the man would have been too much powerful because that's half.
He would not function. He needed a helper.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of weird because when I think about like the red part, that's create another human being, and that was a female.
Yeah.
But I don't know because God knows.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
like since all those days, from that time to now,
look.
Why did it take thousands of years, or whoever knows how old the Earth is, that much years, for people to say this bullcrap, saying, the women, we can do whatever we want. They're just saying screw that.
Yeah.
They're saying screw all those history past, and we're making our new one right now. It's better. No, it's not.
And look at this. It's like saying you want to make your own rules, but God had the rules before when Adam and Eve. He told the rules. Adam, you're the leader. Eve, you supposed to help him. And
then they
great
got
family.
deceived.
They got deceived. Yes, they got deceived.
But look, because all this, like the world and all that, it was, I don't know, look, since the beginning it was wicked and all that.
I feel like what all the feminists should read is basically read the Adam and Eve story.
They'll say it's fake. You know that. They'll say, I don't want to believe this.
But
this is
real.
a fairy tale.
Because look, like we can't.
They say prove it. They say prove it.
Look, it's
That's
easy.
what they'll say.
It's
they
easy.
always
It's very easy. Like I started. Like how can a freaking male be born here in this world or a female from the start?
They say out of nothing.
No, see that's
the
not
others say
just like a pop up.
Yeah, they say a fish.
Nah, see,
they say
it's not.
Fish from
see, look at that. It's
evolution.
not correct in my mind. Like it's not never correct. My mind's not function that way because it's not the truth.
Because you see this. Look, I know we're off topic, but who cares? Look, humans make houses, all this stuff like man-made stuff.
See, look, like
they use God's stuff like water
from the water. Trees,
humans cannot make water. Humans cannot make a tree. Like they can't make one. Like they need a seed from a tree to do that. Also, blood. Humans cannot make blood
at all.
And then semen and all that. They can't make that.
Never.
All right. So it doesn't make any sense. Like painter. If someone paints something, that means there's been a painter who painted that
the creator,
and then let's say for example the paintings were alive, and they're saying, why you made me look like this? And then the painter is gonna be like, bro, I created you like that. This is my I'm the one who's in control because
you're the painter. You
wouldn't have been existed
if I didn't
create you. So that's what I want to say a little. So
and also one thing, like the man, it's crazy. Like we see all this thing, it was created by man. They did it hard work, didn't complain, didn't do that. They did what they had to do. And look, it's basically we're just talking crap to them. They did all this for us, and now look, and we're complaining. Look at this. We're complaining, and look at them saying, you have all this stuff that we don't have. And now you're complaining.
Look, maybe it was better not to innovate. Maybe it wasn't better to make all these new. But
it's basically trying to corrupt our nature.
It doesn't matter because this is all part of the plan and all part of how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So is that it?
Yeah, that'll be it, guys.
Hope this is recording.
I hope it's recording. So, guys, we're back. It was pretty messed up.
We thought we got cut off. Maybe we did. I don't freaking know.
I don't know. But anyways, guys. We see you in the next one, and I appreciate it. And hope to subscribe to the button. It already been a year now. It's been last Tuesday, I think. Yeah, last Tuesday. Yeah, a year in our channel. We're going to still grow. I need to change the setup. I'm trying to get better quality. I hope we get a setup of this streaming platform. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's going to cost like freaking $1,000. We're not big, bro. We're not big yet. We're not. So, yeah, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.